Hello, welcome to part 19 of the Angular Complete series represented by tutorial polls. ngFor Directive. ngFor of is shorthand used for ngFor structural directive. ngFor is used to iterate over a collection, that is, an array of items, and repeats the element for each item on which the directive is used. So let's begin by writing a ngFor directive on the element. Let's clean up the code. Remove everything from userdetailComponent.html except the default p tag. Remove the template from appComponent.html and also remove everything from userdetailComponent.ts except the default code generator from Angular CLI. Alright, now in userdetailComponent.html write a div. Now on div add the ngFor directive by typing *ngFor equal. Now inside type an array of numbers. Open close square brackets and pass in values from 1 to 5. When ngFor iterates, it will scope each repeated section with each value or object of the array. So you can access the value or properties of the object inside and on the element. Also you can access the parent scope. So when ngFor will pass value one by one, it has to be assigned in a variable which can be used as an alias for the current value. Let's complete the syntax. Type let here and the variable name, say it as value and then of. So here we are saying assign each item in value variable for the repeated context. Let's also define a variable in userdetailComponent.ts. So type public greeting of type string and assign the value as hello. Now in userdetailComponent.html, let's render the value in UI. So here type p tag, inside use interpolation for value. Save the changes and run the application. So npm start, let it run. Alright, now application is running and launched. So you see here values from 1 to 5 are rendered. Also if you inspect this section, notice along with div it's repeating the same div element for each number. Alright, let's also interpolate parent scope property greeting here inside. Save the changes and observe the browser. See, it is rendering hello from component scope and value from ngFor scope. We can also get the index of each item by adding the index variable. So here after our array type semicolon and let I equal index. Now resolve this I as well. Save the changes and see the browser. See, we are getting the index of each item now. Also, instead of writing the let I equal index, we can say index as I. Save and see the browser. End result is intact as expected. We can use this index in scenarios where we want to do some operations on the array based on index. Let's define a variable in userdetailComponent.ts. So type here public items of type array of type any equals empty array. Now pass this array variable in place of a hard-coded array in userdetail.component.html. If you save the changes and see the browser, you will find no item being rendered because the array is empty as yet. Let's define one number variable here. So type public num of type number and equals 0. Now let's quickly define two public methods to add and remove items from the array. So type public add and complete the brackets and inside type this dot items dot push this dot num plus plus. Copy and paste the same function, change the name to remove and inside pass an argument as an index of type number. Inside function type this dot items dot splice and pass index, 1. Splice is a JavaScript extension method that can be used to delete items by index. So the first argument here is the index at which item delete should start and next how many items should be deleted. So as we have given 1, it will remove only item which is at the supplied index. Remember, splice will modify the current array. Now let's open userdetail.component.html and add two buttons quickly. Button with text as add and then passing click handler as add. Again, add a button within template context with text as remove and pass in click handler as remove. Inside remove, pass the index variable. Save the changes and observe the browser. Click on the add button and see the items are adding. Click on remove and see the item with the index is getting removed. Here we are using a simple number array. You might have guessed. Now if you have an array of objects, we can access the properties of each object inside this template or inside the ngFor. There is one more thing we have in this ngFor directive called track by. Angular internally uses this track by to track the changes in the collection. By default, each object is tracked by index. But in case you want to get ngFor tracked by any specified property or you want to supply any track by function, you can make use of track by. So here add a semicolon and add track by colon and pass a function here which you want to use. We will not do anything here as of now. Let's remove this track by as it's very rare you will be supplying tracking function in it. If you are still willing to explore this track by function, you can visit the link given in the description. Alright, so that was it for ngFor off or ngFor. Now we know the ngFor off directive and the uses of it. That was it for this lecture. Thank you and see you in the next video.